So yeah, Aegon Targaryen, he takes the credit as the conqueror, but he could not have done it without Visenya and Rhaenys. I mean, I know he had a dragon and he had Balerion. It wasn't like he had a little itty bitty dragon, he had a big one. But still, and I think you might be shocked by this little fact. We know Aegon didn't have a huge army when he first launched his invasion. We all know that, right? But I'd forgotten just how small it was. I was checking something up in the books and I came across a passage where Stannis is talking to his wife, Selyse, and she says to him, "You have more men than Aegon Targaryen did." Unfortunately, you don't have dragons, but you have more men. And Stannis is like, "I've got 1,300 men on Dragonstone. I've got another 300 at Storm's End." So that makes 1,600. So Aegon had less than that. And again, I know he did have Balerion, but still, less than 1,600 men? That is a tiny force to launch a conquest. And Aegon couldn't be in two places at the same time. So when he's off doing one thing, Visenya's off somewhere else and Rhaenys is another place. And together, it's a collective effort. I mean, I know it's a mouthful, but it really should be, Visenya, Aegon, Rhaenys' conquest. Because, that's the order of their birth, that's their ages, that would have been correct. Or you could do Aegon, Rhaenys, Visenya if we're being alphabetical, but they do deserve a lot more credit than they actually get for the role they played in the conquest. I said it a minute ago, Aegon can't be in two places at once. And also, it's not just about being there with your dragon, it's about what you do with that dragon. And Visenya and Rhaenys, they could do a lot of things. They could negotiate, they could do diplomacy, or they could be in the mix on the battlefield. Whatever they needed to do, they were prepared to do it. It wasn't like, oh, they just came in all guns blazing. Like Visenya in the Vale, yes, she torched the fleet off the coast of Gulltown. Yep, she was very involved in that. But when she went and spoke to the Arryns, well, she didn't even speak to them. She just went and presented herself, and she's sitting there with Ronald Arryn on her knee, with Vhagar right there. She didn't need to say anything. The message was clear. The implication was, you'd best bend the knee and fast. Now, Aegon might not necessarily have been able to pull that off. We don't know. I think the biggest testament to Visenya and Rhaenys is the way that they are respected and treated after the conquest. They're not just cast aside as like the cute, pretty wives. No, 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 no. Aegon the Conqueror ruled for the best part of 3 decades. He was on the Iron Throne for a long time, but about half of the time he wasn't actually there in the capital. He would either be on Dragonstone or he would be somewhere else throughout his realm. He always was on like procession, doing something, visiting somebody. So who picked up the slack? It was Visenya and Rhaenys, but mainly Visenya because obviously Rhaenys died fairly early on. They picked up the slack. They sat on the Iron Throne. They dealt with whatever was coming through that day, whatever people's qualms were. They dealt with that and they were respected. And Aegon trusted them to do this. He knew how capable they were. Maybe privately, Aegon was like, damn, I owe my sister wives everything because without them I would have been screwed. Think about it. If you're a Westerosi and you see a man invade with a very tiny army with 1 dragon, that's a very different thing to him invading with 3 dragons. And even though some people, like Brandon Snow, were like, I think I can take out the dragons. Yeah, right, dude. Most people were like, look, the image of 3 dragons, that's a bit too much. Like, I don't think we can overcome that. But Aegon with just 1 dragon, maybe people would have chanced it and the conquest could have failed. And so just the image alone of Aegon with his sister wives and their dragons, that alone helped him to secure the conquest. So he owes a huge debt to Rhaenys and to Visenya. And I think Aegon knew this. And let's not forget, just as I sum up this video, after the conquest, which was a very disastrous time for Westeros, a very traumatic time, during Aegon's reign, with the exception of the occasional incident, it was a fairly calm time, fairly peaceful. And again, that's a testament to Aegon and particularly Visenya for holding down the fort for as long as they did.